Hello everyone. Welcome to Confessions Jury, where people put themselves on the spot, waiting for your judgment. Sit comfortably and listen carefully, as you're about to hear today's cases. You hold the hammer and you apply the law. Let us have your verdict down in the comments section. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for reporting my neighbor to the police and animal services after seeing him mistreat his dog? So I live in a small, quiet neighborhood, and normally I try to mind my own business. But this situation has me feeling like a complete wreck, and honestly, I'm questioning if I made the right call. A few months back, this guy moves in next door with his dog, a big, sweet-looking dog. At first, I thought it was great, you know? I'm a big animal lover, and I figured having a dog around would be nice. But it didn't take long before things got disturbing. The first time I noticed anything weird, it was just a loud argument coming from next door. I heard yelling, then barking, and finally this high-pitched whimpering that honestly broke my heart. I thought maybe he was just having a rough day, or maybe the dog had done something minor that got on his nerves. I told myself not to jump to conclusions, but then it started happening again. And again. Every few days, I'd hear the yelling and the dog whimpering. Once, I saw the poor thing limping around the yard afterward. He just looked so defeated, like he was scared of every shadow. I tried telling myself that maybe I was overthinking it, maybe it was just my imagination getting the best of me. But then, last week, I actually saw what was happening with my own eyes. My neighbor was outside, yanking this poor dog around by the collar and smacking him because he wasn't sitting on command. The dog was clearly terrified, trying to pull away, but the guy just wouldn't stop. At one point, he even lifted the dog halfway off the ground by the collar. It was horrible. I felt sick just watching it, like I couldn't breathe. I knew I couldn't let this keep happening. I went back and forth about what to do. Part of me wanted to confront him and try to talk to him directly, maybe reason with him somehow. But every time I looked at that dog, I saw the pain and fear in his eyes, and I just knew that nothing I could say would make this guy change his behavior. So, after a lot of debating, I finally called the police and animal services, hoping they'd come check it out and, hopefully, help the dog. They did show up, and apparently, they took it seriously because my neighbor got a warning and some fines, plus they're now keeping tabs on him. But somehow, he figured out it was me who reported him, and now he's been making my life a nightmare. He's been banging on my door, shouting at me that I'm ruining his life and even trying to turn other neighbors against me. A few people have actually asked me if I exaggerated the situation and suggested I should have minded my own business. So, now I'm sitting here, wondering if maybe I went too far. Maybe I should have just left it alone or tried a different approach. It's hard to feel like I did the right thing when half the neighborhood seems to think I'm the bad guy here. So, am I the bad person for getting involved? What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for laughing in my ex's face and calling her struggles karma for choosing her manipulative friend over me? I'm 28M who was dating Kelly, 27F, for 3 years, planning to propose with an engagement ring and a luxury vacation. However, her best friend, Nat, 27F, was always a problem. From the start, Nat disliked me and tried to break us up by falsely accusing me of cheating and convincing Kelly I was controlling. This caused many arguments, but Kelly always defended Nat. In January 2024, I reached my limit. We were celebrating my birthday, and Kelly invited Nat despite my objections. Nat dominated the conversation, talking about her financial issues. I asked Kelly to intervene, but when she tried, Nat accused her of not caring and then attacked me, calling me controlling. I lost my temper, calling her a manipulative bitch. Nat physically assaulted me, leaving bruises. The day was ruined, and back home, I gave Kelly an ultimatum, either me or Nat. Kelly argued it was unfair to make her choose. We fought, and when Kelly said I provoked Nat by insulting her, I told her to leave. After threatening to call the cops, she finally left. I packed all of Kelly's belongings, including everything I had bought for her since she had lived off my money for 2 years. I texted her to pick up her things, and when she arrived, I handed them over without speaking. Later, Nat texted, calling me a jerk for keeping the gifts. Kelly also texted, calling me stingy. Angry, I sent her photos of the expensive engagement ring and vacation tickets I had bought to show what she missed out on because of Nat. Then, I blocked her. In September, Kelly showed up at my place, looking awful, and begged me to take her back. She admitted she had made a huge mistake. After we broke up, she got her own apartment but realized how manipulative Nat was. Nat kept guilt-tripping her into giving her money and eventually moved in with Kelly after getting evicted. Things got worse. Nat started using drugs, invited shady people over, and Kelly noticed cash and valuables, including her grandmother's necklace, were stolen. When she confronted Nat, Nat physically assaulted her, and 2 days later, Kelly was evicted because of Nat's behavior. Now homeless, jobless, and broke, Kelly apologized, saying she would do anything to get back together. I felt a sense of satisfaction and told her it was karma for choosing Nat over me. I asked her to leave, threatening to call the police if she didn't. Kelly told mutual friends, and they think I was too harsh given her situation. They suggest I apologize or even consider taking her back. Now, I'm conflicted. Should I apologize to keep the peace with my friends, or am I justified in not taking her back or apologizing? Am I the bad person? What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person for refusing to consider stopping our divorce after my ex admitted her psychic friend lied about me having an affair? I met my wife, Rona, when we were in college together. I made the obviously terrible assumption that the fact she was in post-secondary education meant she had a modicum of common sense. We started dating our senior year and after job hunting settled on moving back to her hometown after graduating. We found an apartment and lived together for 2 years before getting married. All good so far. At our wedding I met an old friend of hers, Anna. She offered to read my palm since she was part gypsy. Weird. I am in construction and I know a few people from that group and they call themselves Roma. Whatever. Anna only comes to town every once in a while. She lives in NYC, so she doesn't have time to visit since she has an exciting life there. She makes costumes for plays and cosplayers. So we see her maybe 4 times over the next 2 years. Last time she came was Labor Day last year. And that's when it got weird. All of a sudden Rona starts acting oddly. She starts checking in on me at work. Coming by when I'm working late. Asking to use my phone because hers is almost out of power. That sort of thing. She finally comes out and accuses me of having an affair. I thought she was joking, so I laugh and say that I am not. This sets her off like a Roman candle. Because Anna told her I would laugh it off when Rona came for the truth. I laughed because it was ridiculous. I barely had time for a relationship with my wife and my job. I am home all weekend long. When I go golfing, her brother is almost always either in my foursome or at the club. And most important of all, I love my wife. I wouldn't do anything to harm her. And yet she takes the word of Anna, the psychic seamstress, over mine. She asks me to leave our apartment. I say no because I have nowhere else to go. So she leaves and moves back with her parents. They think she is nuts too. I spent the next few months working and trying to convince her that I'm not cheating and that I want her to come home. I don't get invited to Thanksgiving because it would be awkward. I didn't even stick around for Christmas. I went home to see my family. They have been following all this stupidity without commenting until then. At Christmas they had an intervention. They said my wife was having a break from reality and that she wasn't coming out of it. My dad told me to give my head a shake, which he only does when I am being monumentally stupid. When I got back, I went to a lawyer and started my divorce. That was in January. Finally, at the beginning of April, Rona calls me to talk. I say that we should talk through lawyers. She starts to cry and I agree to meet her in public if she will allow me to record our conversation so I can give a copy to my lawyer. She eventually agreed. Turns out her and her parents hired a private detective to find my affair. 6 months and a huge bill later, zero evidence of an affair. She finally believes me and wants to come home. I tell her that our lease is up in July and I already found a job in Denver near my family. She says she would come with me. I respectfully declined. I told her we just weren't right for each other. The truth is I do not want to have my offspring share DNA with this dingbat. Anyway, I am moving ahead with my divorce. I am gutted that she took her friend's psychic vibrator over mine. Her family has approached me several times. The last time her dad offered to front us a 25% down payment on a house if I agree to go to marriage counseling instead of just leaving. I politely declined. I cannot be bought. Rona is now depressed, but I see no way of ever trusting her again. She is young enough she can marry again and wreck some other guy's life. Am I the bad person? You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.